The Indiana Fever welcome back DeWanna Bonner with an enormous L as Kahleah Copper starts to immediately say some insane things in the media, demonstrating the lack of understanding of how sports works. First, let's talk about the game. The first matchup against DeWanna Bonner and the Phoenix Mercury. Since Bonner's departure, of course, did her trade request and no longer was available in the lineup, and left a lot of people feeling not good about it, how it all went down. The Fever did a max deal with her and anticipated that she was going to be a big part of taking this team over the top. And who would have thought that the person that, quite frankly, replaced them in Ari McDonald would be the central reason that DeWanna Bonner of the Mercury would take the loss, as Ari McDonald went for a career high 27. No Caitlin Clark in the lineup still, and McDonald has played excellent in her absence. Kelsey Mitchell off game for her, stuck in foul trouble, only had 8 points. So if you think about it like this, barely any contributions from the combined team of Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, and they were able to score 107 points on the Mercury. I noticed a few things about the Mercury last night. They have, you look at it on paper, they've got a big three, and they've got, some shooting around them. If you have somebody that's willing to stand up to the physicality with Alyssa Thomas, and, you look at the stat line, she had 32 and 15. There's nothing to take away from that. But if you have someone challenge her physically, it's almost like bullying the bully, because the skill isn't necessarily there. Like, as far as like leaving her open, committed a lot of unforced turnovers that the Fever were able to take advantage of in that second quarter, where they closed that gap that was open in the first quarter, as Alyssa Thomas was going back and forth with the Indiana crowd, saying that DeWanna Bonner has joined a real team. So whatever that means. But let's talk about that. Kahleah Copper made some comments about it being distasteful the way that DeWanna Bonner was booed. And I'm sorry, this is just the softest stuff that I've ever heard in my life. Players show back up to organizations that they depart with on less than above board ways, and get welcomed back by fans with boos all the time. Was she expecting a tribute video for the 3 games that she played? And I think I've seen people throwing out the stats that not only did the Fever struggle trying to incorporate Bonner in the lineup, but now the Mercury, ever since she has been there, have not been the well-oiled engine that they were prior to her arrival. I think they need to get a grip. It's not like this was a pregnant woman showing back up and then they booed that pregnant woman. Oh, excuse me, that happened in Las Vegas. Sorry. I knew when the Fever, came out there and got that win, closed out in the fourth quarter, that something was coming. Like, we could all feel it during the game as we were watching last night. I feel like as I was seeing different tweets and all that, like, they're going to try something. And this is, the distasteful thing is where it goes. I think this is a big, must-have game for the Fever, showing that, big teams aren't going to be able to just roll in here, even without Caitlin Clark, and think it's an easy lick. This game moved the Fever into a game and a half behind the third position. So this is house money. Like, any win you can get on the board without Caitlin Clark in the lineup, this is house money. We saw some tinkering with the lineups, and finding a way to produce that many points without Clark and Mitchell basically going crazy. That is to be commended. I think Stephanie White deserves a little bit of tip of the cap right there. Aaliyah Boston in the fourth quarter realized she was bigger and stronger than the entire front line of Phoenix. Once she put the body on their leader in Alyssa Thomas, who was going to stand a chance with her? Satu Sabally doesn't want to bang like that. DeWanna Bonner, of course, does not want to bang like that. And she was able to just do what she wanted at the end. 22 points, 12 boards. And she was just like, when she plays like this, she seems like the best center in the league. And when I say center, a true center, back to the basket, somebody that's not masquerading as a forward. It was high energy in the building, this was a statement game, I'd say, for the Fever, that they are not looking to quit, regardless of who's in the lineup. And when who comes back, it's going to be spooky if it continues like this. The prospect of the Fever playing without Caitlin Clark has always kind of been a tricky one. They've won games they were expected to lose. They've lost games they were expected to win. So you never quite know what you're getting. But on this night, I think I will take the victory in the celebration because of the personal rivalry with Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner. That goes back to last season when the Connecticut Sun were kind of the big nemesis. When that team got broken up, I was kind of upset about it because I wanted the Fever to be able to compete against them for years and years to overtake them eventually. And the team is kind of broke up into different pieces around the league. So there are more matchups, I think, that are fun. We still haven't seen Dejanay Carrington come back as a member of the Wings and play against the Fever yet. But those matchups, along with this Mercury matchup, they're going to mean something a little bit different, I think, to the crowd in Indianapolis and even the players on the team. We saw Caitlin Clark celebrating when DeWanna Bonner was getting put in jail and crying for calls. This was this was definitely a fun game to watch. Sophie Cunningham debuted her new podcast, dropped 12 points the same day, so shout outs to her. Natasha Howard, only 6 points, 6 boards. I think there may be something going on with Natasha. She's not been herself the last couple games, so we'll keep an eye on that. But as I mentioned, Aaliyah Boston, 22 points, 12 boards. She was just a woman among girls. I wouldn't want to have to guard Aaliyah Boston in the low post when she decides to remember who she is. Her and McDonald pretty much did that work exclusively in the first half. I believe she scored like 4 points in the second half, but that first half run was key. It made the building come alive, and it was all off the defense pretty much, just converting stops into doing what you wanted on the offensive end and getting the ball out of Alyssa Thomas's hands. Dantas wasn't in the lineup a couple of days ago, steps in, immediately drops 12 points. So between her, Timpson, and now Chloe Bibby, I'm liking the front court rotation off the bench a little bit, especially if Howard is struggling at all. And as I mentioned, Chloe Bibby, calling her Big Red. And when I think of Big Red, I think of the 5 heartbeats. What are my work hours? 9 to 5. So in Chloe Bibby's 9 to 5, she dropped 10 points, hit a couple threes, and she has a way that she catches the ball where she catches it up top and kind of just lets it fly already. I think that's going to be really invaluable when she starts to share the court with Caitlin Clark eventually. I think she's an excellent fit for this team, and they need to do what they have to do to retain her. And Sydney Colson held it down as well, hit a couple 3-pointers that were big momentum changers for the game. As far as the Mercury, it was just Alyssa Thomas and Kahleah Copper. Alyssa Thomas, 32 and 15 and 7, 8 turnovers, and her turnovers were particularly damaging because they were able to convert off of those turnovers. Not all turnovers are made equal. Like you turned over, team comes up, misses a shot, or they give back themselves. It doesn't really, affect anything. But a lot of Alyssa's stuff led directly to, the Fever being able to take advantage. But that's a hell of a stat line: 32, 15, and 7. So even with the bum shoulders, she manages to find a way to get it done. And Kahleah Copper had 22 points. But aside from that, Satu had off night, 3 of 14. She didn't seem to have it. She was too concerned about playing up to the crowd. Probably should have locked in a little bit more on the game. Oh, yeah, Sammy Whitcomb, 18 points, and seemed like she was the one that was there to make a big shot whenever they needed them to stretch the floor, kind of. I think the Mercury are still missing a piece. Like I said, they've got those big 3. They've got Sammy Whitcomb who can hit some threes, but something seems like it's missing because DeWanna Bonner does not seem to be the answer. So they need another guard, but that will probably cut into how Alyssa Thomas wants to play and how they want to run their offense through Alyssa Thomas. So I don't know if a guard is necessarily feasible for their lineup, but I'll tell you, personally, I wanted this one. I wanted it bad. I wanted to see some belt ass. We didn't quite get that, but you'll take the big win, in a situation like this. And as the team continues to go forward, the Indiana Fever they're going to be dangerous down the stretch, man. So people got to take this however they want. You can spin whatever narrative You can try to divide the team up. Who's the real MVP? You can say, this is why Caitlyn doesn't need to be in the lineup. We know you don't believe that. When everyone's back, you have to deal with all of them. You won't have to deal with just some of them. So deal with that however you must. So my name is Rich. What did you guys think of the game? I was a little tired after the game, so I decided to wait until the morning to get it done. You can see it's bright behind me. But make sure you like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do the most, run your boy up. Anyway, it's Rich Latta. It's one lifetime. Peace.